I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to the February edition of Australian Immigration News, brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services. To begin with, it has finally actually happened. Australia fully opened its borders to all visa holders from the 21st of February. As the pandemic is slowly winding down in Australia, people are looking forward to things getting back to normal. And for our viewers offshore, I'm sure you're looking forward to visa processing getting back to the way it used to be before the borders shut. Speaking of visa processing, so many of you out there have been patiently waiting a long time for your visas to be processed. The department has released some information to give us an understanding of what's been going on. As of the 31st of December 2021, the overseas network processing arrangements was operating at about 80% of overall capacity due to local health impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Within Australia, 60% of non-humanitarian visa processing staff has been redirected to COVID-19 related critical functions. This included the transfer of approximately 155 staff from visa processing and border management roles to travel exemption processing. So if you've been wondering where all the case officers have gone to work on processing your file, many have been dealing with travel exemption applications. The great news last Friday was of course the 485, 489, 491 and 494 visa holders or former visa holders affected by the COVID-19 pandemic getting their visas extended. For the 485 visas, they were extended until the 30th of September, and for the 489, 491 and 494 visa holders, their visas were automatically extended for another 3 years in addition to their expiry dates. This means for the 489 visas were extended to a maximum of 7 years and the 491 and 494 visas up to 8 years. If you did not receive your extension notifications by now, it probably means of course that you were not eligible. You can check your visa status on the department's Vivo webpage. We covered eligibility criteria for these extensions in our recent video, and in case you missed it, you can find a link here. Now, if your 485 visa has been extended up till the 30th of September, it means that you'll have to apply for a new one after the 1st of July when the new laws begin. It is recommended that if you're not already in Australia, you come in before the 30th of September to lodge this application. If you're in Australia at the time of lodgement, you'll be granted a bridging visa to allow you to remain here until the visa is granted. This is important, for we do not know how long the processing time will be before your 485 visa is finalized. Whilst on the bridging visa, you'll have full-time work permission and you can study as much as you wish. With all the fanfare about visa holders being able to arrive back into Australia on the 21st of February and visa extensions taking place, there is a forgotten cohort of bridging visa B holders who are caught outside of Australia due to the lockdown in early 2020. Bridging visa Bs typically only last for a few months and many people lost their travel rights to return home. Nearly all of them asked for a travel exemption to get back and most were denied. The problem is that you cannot apply for a replacement bridging visa B when you're outside of Australia, and the law has not been modified, such as the case for the lucky 485 visa holders. Before the pandemic, we occasionally came across people who lost their bridging visa B because they had to stay home longer than expected. In the past, the department was quite flexible in granting tourist visas so they could get back. Once in Australia again, you can apply to have your bridging visa reinstated and then the problem is solved. Now that tourist visas are open to everyone again, this would most likely be a good solution to get back to Australia so you can wait for the processing of your application to be finalized. If your application was refused while you've been offshore, then this method is likely not going to be open to you. The net overseas migration figures, known as the NOM, has been released by the department. The numbers demonstrate the dramatic impact the COVID-19 pandemic has had on this country. Net overseas migration is the net gain or loss of population through immigration to Australia and emigration from Australia. For the last 10 years, this NOM has hovered between a positive 172,000 to 315,000 people per annum. However, since the pandemic, the NOM has fallen into the negative category of at least 100,000 people in the 2021 financial year to a negative 41,000 people expected in the 2021 to 2022 year. So Australia has been shrinking, and it's not expected to get back into the positive territory until the 2022 to 2023 financial year and right up to 2025. The department will have to significantly boost the quota for immigrants to come to this country to get the NOM up to these levels. That hopefully will be a good indicator that now is the time to begin preparing for your application to live in Australia. The government also released figures on the most frequently nominated occupations for the temporary skills shortage, the 482 visa. Software engineers have moved into the top position with 1,110 places, and this is a significant rise of 40%. Next is chef with 1,070 places, with a whopping 450% increase compared to the year before. However, the biggest actual increase is for the occupation of external auditor, which has risen an astonishing 637.5% to 240 nominations. Accountants also had a big rise to be in fourth position, just under the resident medical officers. Since the border reopening and the ongoing shortages, we can expect the number of occupations approved for the 482 visa to skyrocket to levels not seen for more than a decade. Taking a look at some interesting student visa figures, overall during the pandemic, offshore student visa lodgements dropped by a whopping 55.5%, not really unexpected. Student visas lodged by applicants in Australia fell only 12.6% compared to the 2019-2020 financial year. This, of course, was artificially propped up by students who were in Australia during the lockdown, choosing further study rather than facing the prospect of going home. And concerning student visas being granted, or in this case not granted, figures released through FOI have revealed that in India over the last 5 years, you have roughly a 20% chance of refusal from the New Delhi Processing Office. Currently, student visa processing has been prioritised to students outside of Australia who are seeking to commence a study before the first semester of 2022. You'll also be interested to know that for Partner 309 applications, which I know many of you have been waiting quite some time now from the comments made on this channel, there are approximately 22,000 applications on hand waiting to be processed. Let's hope as offshore processing centres strive to reach their full capacity, so those who have been waiting a considerable amount of time will see the light at the end of the tunnel soon. And speaking of applications on hand, the concern recently is what's happening to parent visa applications. Figures released by the department have shown there are approximately 60,000 applications waiting to be processed for the 143 contributing parent visa. However, this figure does not really match with the current processing times on the department's website indicated. Updated in February, they are still stating about 6 years wait for processing. So something is not quite adding up here compared to what the department is telling us on the processing times, comparing to visa applicants that are waiting to be processed. Given the annual parent visa quota for each year would be around 4,500, it would take more than 10 years of waiting time for visas to be processed. It's time for the department to be transparent and realistic regarding the future of the 143 visa, and if they intend to dramatically increase the yearly quota to ensure this 5 to 6 year waiting period is really accurate. So far in our office, 4 to 5 years of waiting is currently the norm, and we certainly hope it's not going to blow out to a ridiculous waiting time. It's been a busy month just keeping up with all the news these days, and of course we only have selected the major points of interest. If you need help, book a time to consult with us over Zoom, Skype or the telephone. Follow us on Facebook to get the latest changes faster than we can even make these videos. Subscribe to this channel to show your support, and don't forget to hit that like icon if you enjoyed our content today. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time, so bye for now.